Welcome to the Widescreen Weekend Review for the third week of May 2016. This week's Widescreen Weekend Review is sponsored by our very own WSGF Ultimate Monitor Stand. It's the only monitor stand on the market designed to grow with you in your gaming rig. It supports 3x1 landscape, 1+3 landscape with up to 27-inch panels, and it also supports 5x1 portrait with up to 25-inch panels. For more information, visit wsgf.org/stands. First up, we have the new sequel/franchise reboot Doom. We got a taste of the display support in the open beta, and thankfully things have improved significantly since then. We get a gold certification for widescreen and 4K UHD, silver support for 21:9, and limited support for multi-monitor. The game has perfect horizontal plus support for single widescreens, including 4K UHD. There are a few slight blemishes on ultra-wide, thus the silver medal. The first of these is that the player's hand and weapon are ever so slightly stretched. You might not realize it with the early weapons or even without a side-by-side comparison pic. What you will notice is that the HUD is fixed to a 16:9 window and is not on the edges of your 21:9 panel. The weapon stretch is fixed via flawless widescreen, which is also used to correct major flaws in the multi-monitor implementation. Multi-monitor resolution is natively supported under the 16:3 aspect ratio grouping in the display options. However, the actual implementation is not the proper triple wide aspect ratio. The actual image is something between 21:9 and triple wide stretched across 3 monitors. Before we move on, I do want to show a couple of screenshot comparisons, both with and without the flawless widescreen patch. First up is an in-game cutscene from the opening moments of the game. And the second here is taken from a restart at the very first checkpoint. It's pretty obvious how badly multi-monitor was implemented by the developer and how Hayden's flawless widescreen patch fixes this. This also just shows that even when developers claim they'll have multi-monitor support, it's still often left to enthusiast communities such as the WSGF to provide proper support. So thanks to Hayden for his day one fix with flawless widescreen, so that now everybody can enjoy the title. Next up, we have Mercenaries 2 World in Flames. It gets gold support for widescreen, limited for ultra-wide, and multi-monitor is supported. It has proper horizontal plus gameplay for 16:9 and 16:10. Multi-monitor requires a fix using the cheat engine, which does result in proper horizontal plus support. Multi-mon uses the same fix, but the aspect ratio is so blown out that the game is largely unplayable. It is available through Origin. It has average to mixed reviews on Metacritic. It may be worth the $10 on Origin or Amazon if you're looking for something to play, at least on a single screen configuration. Here we have Escape Dead Island. It gets silver medals for widescreen, ultra-wide, and multi-monitor. It has horizontal plus aspect ratio support in all 3 configurations, but with some minor blemishes. The full motion video scenes are cropped in both ultra-wide and multi-monitor. The HUD and menus are stretched in multi-monitor. This title differs from previous entries in the series in that it uses a third-person point of view and uses cel-shaded graphics. It has mixed reviews on Steam, with 58% of the people liking it, and costs $20. Personally, I'm a fan of cel-shaded graphics and like the word balloons that they use to give off a comic book motif. I haven't tried it myself, but if I could get it on a good Steam sale for, say, half off, I'd probably give this zombie adventure survival horror action title a spin. Here we have Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Again, we see silver medals across the board for widescreen, ultra-wide, and multi-monitor. The game is designed for 16:9 and offers an FOV slider from 80 to 120 degrees. The HUD, menus, and full motion videos are squeezed in 16:10, but if you're playing in 16:9, you're golden, literally. HUD menus and full motion videos are stretched in ultra-wide and multi-monitor, becoming more obvious as the aspect ratio gets wider. Black Ops 3 was a holiday release for 2015. It wasn't quite the success that Treyarch and Activision were hoping for, with reviews tending to be less than positive. If you haven't picked it up yet, you're probably waiting on a sale. If you do grab it, know that aspect support outside of 16:9 is good, but not perfect. Here we have another big title with Darksiders 2, the Deathinitive edition. It's an updated version of the original Darksiders 2 release, which the developer bills as having native 1080p support, yay, and an improved graphic render engine for higher visual quality, lighting, and shadows. Well, let's see. So the Deathinitive edition gets gold for widescreen, and we've confirmed support not only for 1080p but 1440p as well. So that's past what the developer claimed, so good on that. The game gets a silver for ultra-wide and multi-monitor. It offers horizontal plus support for these configurations, but the map and compass don't work properly. The markers or dots on the map and compass are moved outside of the map circle, which may make them unusable, especially in multi-monitor. New starting with this week's podcast, we're going to be highlighting some major titles which have received updates to their detailed reports here at the WSGF. First up is Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. It was updated with silver support for multi-monitor to go along with its gold support for wide screen and ultra-wide. The game offers native horizontal plus support that's almost perfect, and indeed it is with widescreen and ultra-wide. The only blemish on multi-monitor is a spanned HUD. Here we have Resident Evil 6. It is updated with limited support for multi-monitor to go along with gold support for widescreen and limited for ultra-wide. Widescreen doesn't need any special attention, though we have steps on the WSGF for using an odd resolution that may not be supported natively in the game. Ultra-wide requires widescreen fixer, and there are a few blemishes on some gameplay areas, but nothing consequential. Multimon also requires widescreen fixer. Most issues are corrected with the fix, but bezel compensation is not supported. If that's a feature you use, you'll want to turn it off before running Resident Evil 6. Here we have Resident Evil Revelations. It's updated with information for widescreen, raising its certification from silver to gold. New screenshots were added, and additional aspects of the report have also been updated as well. Ultra-wide and multi-monitor both require widescreen fixer and have a lengthy set of instructions on the detailed report at the WSGF. The game will not run at 3440 by 1440 ultra-wide and will crash, so 21:9 users will have to settle with 2560 by 1080. The game has very positive ratings on Steam and offers a free demo. That's a good way to see if the fix is worth your time. Resident Evil Revelations 2 is updated with information for multi-monitor, giving it a silver certification. Ultrawide also has a silver support with widescreen getting gold. Both ultrawide and multimon are enabled with a simple INI edit. The only blemish to the actual gameplay is a spanned HUD on multimon. Resident Evil Revelations 2 has mostly positive ratings on Steam and is being released or has been released in an episodic fashion. You can check out the first one for $6 or $30 for the bundle that includes all the episodes and extras such as maps and costumes. All of the Resident Evil titles are routinely on sale via Steam and through Humble Bundle, and these titles were actually updated here along with an update to Resident Evil 4, which we will feature next week, were all purchased through a recent Humble Bundle. Next up is the major release Dark Souls 3. We have new solutions posted that remove the fixed 16:9 aspect ratio for the game, which was a major hindrance for ultra-wide and multi-monitor. There are two different solution options. One is quite lengthy and requires a manual hex edit of a DLL to inject your resolution into the game, and then adding several rows to the graphics config XML file. The alternative is to use a fix from Steam community member Chaldean. He offers a utility called Unsqueezed that will do all the heavy lifting for you and simply adds an option into the graphics tab within the game that's called aspect ratio correction. So many thanks to Chaldean for his fix and for contributing to the ultra-wide and multi-monitor communities. Here we have Men of Valor. It's been updated with a multi-mon certification for silver to go along with existing silver certs for widescreen and ultra-wide. Uses the same solution as required for widescreen support. Just be forewarned that the HUD scales and gets bigger as the aspect ratio gets bigger and gets quite large at multi-monitor. But given that in this title, the multi-mon HUD is spanned on the outside edges, having a huge HUD might actually be a benefit and not a hindrance. Next to last is the perennial favorite Minecraft Windows 10 edition. There are major updates here in the detailed report so that we are now current with the 14.2 version of the title with specific enhancements and updates to multi-monitor support. The HUD support for multi-monitor is greatly improved, moving its certification up from limited to silver. We have all new matching screenshots in the detailed report. And last, we have the Saboteur. It gets limited support from multi-monitor added to its report to go along with limited support for widescreen and ultra-wide. Zarman, a frequent contributor to the WSGF, has a great new patch for the title that works for both versions 1.0 and 1.03. This version change between 1.0 and 1.03 was a huge issue for us in the community. When the game was released back in 2009, that new patch, just the 0.03 update, changed the display support so drastically and broke fixes that we had so badly that we actually had to keep 2 separate entries for the game up on the WSGF. And to my knowledge, this is the only game that we've ever had to maintain 2 separate entries for 2 different patch levels. So thanks to Zarman for the unified fix and helping us to reconcile everything. In general, it's a great cleanup of this DR entry and comes with numerous screenshots added, along with confirmations of the ultra-wide and multi-monitor solutions being tested in both versions.